speaking from my spirit into y'all. Hello, my name is In with the Wind, and my daughter is Thomas. She's in the background, but guess what? Let's talk about it, okay? I'm here to let you know that every Thursday at 12 p.m., it just takes a deep breath for you to say, I know, it's not okay. No, not at all. And it's not your fault. Okay? I love you, and let's begin. Okay, so once again, my phone storage is fucking with me trying to tell this story. I think it's the devil as well. The devil's a liar. Get the fuck out of this room. I stand with Jehovah. Anyway, where was I? So, we're in the car, and we didn't even make it to the hotel room because everything happened in the car. Now, I was telling him, like, let's go to the room or whatever, and I kind of had a feeling that, that whole transpiring of me meeting up with him and me being in the car with him and me us ending up in that spot, felt like we was never going to make it to the room. But anyway, we sitting in the car or whatever, and as I'm thinking about this. Okay, once again, it stopped me. Anyway, I'm just gonna skip to the nitty gritty part. He wanted to as I'm trying to tell the story, I can't really remember everything. But I'm just gonna skip to the part where everything happened or whatever. So he ate me out, and I didn't even want that to happen either. And my phone is tripping right now. No matter my efforts, how many times I deleted 20 apps. I deleted SoundCloud, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Studio, just for me to record the video, because I really feel like it's important for me to share my story and get it out. I don't care what stops me. I'll delete everything off my phone just so I can record it and get this out. Anyway, he ate me out, and I didn't want that to happen either. And the whole time that we've been talking or whatever, I've been telling him things that I've been through, and I didn't want them to happen again if he's so kind of interested in me or whatever. And he was saying nah, you feel me, I like you or whatever, and I'm trying to build something with you. But it's funny how after that happened or whatever, even though it happened that way, he now all of a sudden, it's never I wasn't trying to be with you to begin with and all type of shit. You know how niggas be they really be twisting mind games and shit just to get what they want. But anyway, he ate me out, and I did not want him to do that either. And then again to pull his pants down, and I'm what you doing? What are you doing? I don't want to do anything with you. That's something in my head. I ain't say all that, but I'm what are you doing? And okay, take 80,000. I'm still trying to not let me be great. Anyway, he ate me out. I did not want him to, and I'm trying to remember how it got to that point, but I can't. All I know is that he pulled his pants down, and I asked him what are you doing? No, I don't know what you're trying to do, but it's not gonna work. Okay, now I remember how he got to eat me out, and I didn't want him to. He was I want to see what it looked like. in the car. I'm okay, but we're not doing that, so I let him see whatever. And then he's let me taste it. I'm I don't want you to right now. He's just come on, let me taste it. I'm okay. So I let him do that, and it was a 5 out of 10. And then he started pulling his pants down. And I'm what are you doing? No, I don't want you to do nothing. There's something in my head. I'm what are you doing? That's what I said. What are you doing? And he I don't think he said anything. I don't really remember everything. Now I'm trying to think about it and explain to y'all the story. can't remember everything, and I don't remember what he was saying or what I was saying. But all I know is we were both sober. Actually, he was drinking a little bit. I think he said he was some Hennessy or something like that. And he started pulling his pants down, and that's when he pulled his dick out, and he put it inside. He was just trying to put it inside of me, and I was like, no. And he proceeded to still enter inside of me, and I was telling him no. And I didn't want him to at all. I was not ready to let him have me, especially after everything that I was telling him. And he was acting cool about the situation, whenever he was like kind of being respectful towards me as I was telling him no. Like, I don't want to be down with nothing like that or whatever. Like, through text message or whatever, whenever time we seen each other. Like, he used to make me smile and shit, like made me blush or whatever every time I seen him. But like, in this situation, I was telling him no, and he kept on like going. And then at this point, he's literally, okay, now my phone is starting to get on my nerves. I just deleted mad stuff, and it's still doing it. So I'm gonna be calling Apple later on today, just so they can like reset my phone internally and just delete like any extra stuff that I can't see, and like free up some more space. But anyway, he ate me out because he wanted to see. He wasn't supposed to. And I told him no. But I'm like, okay, go ahead. And then after that, he pulled his pants down, and he began to push inside of me, into me. And I'm like, no. Like, I don't want you to do anything with me. And I'm like, I keep saying no. And then he proceeded on to fuck me. And I'm like, no, stop, no. And I grew up saying, like, or like just the conscious and like the misleading environment of society, and saying like some girls would be like, no, they really want you to keep going. But overall, I feel like that shouldn't be used anymore. Like, no should mean no, and that's exactly what I meant. No, like, I don't want you to do anything with me. I don't want you to touch me in any type of way. And I'm like, no, stop. And he just keeps going, and I'm just sitting there and just being fucked in my car, and I just felt so disgusting. And I kept saying no, and he like, then after like a minute, he's like, you really want me to stop? And I was like, that's what I said, right? I don't really remember what happened next after that, but he got off of me. And then after that, we got out the car or whatever in that park spot that we were in. And like, I definitely didn't want to do that shit, like, at all. Like, especially because like we were pretty much wide out in the open, and my legs was up and shit. Like, he had my legs up over his shoulders in my car, and I was like no the whole time. And it was just like a wide open space, like we on the street, residential area, not like we in some parked off space in the woods or somewhere. Even if we weren't, I still said no, and I don't want to do anything with it. If I say no, that should be good enough. I shouldn't have to push you off me. And that's what I was telling him when we got out the car, whatever. And just like really lost at that point, and I felt disgusted. And I lost all likes in him that I ever had any interest in him. It was all gone after that moment, and I was like disappointed because once again I was let down. And he was just looking at me like, oh, well, if you really feel like I did something wrong, you can call the police right now. Like, trying to like twist the situation on me, and like trying to like contradict me and reverse psychology me. And now he's talking about, like I was saying before, I don't know if my phone recorded it or not, but like I was saying before, he was trying to make it seem like now, before he had got it in my insides, he was like, oh yeah, I'm trying to build with you, yeah. And now after we had sex, even though it was unconsensual as hell, like non-consent at all, I said no from the beginning. He now, after the fact, on top of that, he's like, well, I really wasn't trying to, like, I'm not trying to commit to nothing right now. And I'm just in my head, like, shaking my head, saying, like, I really just can't. And I'm just like, I guess he could just, like, see my vibe. And he was just looking at me, he like, what's wrong? I'm like, I didn't want you to do that to me at all, and I didn't like it at all. And I felt very, very, very disturbed and displaced in myself. And like, after I dropped him off, I shouldn't have even dropped him off at all. I should have just left him where he was. But I'm just so nice, and people would just walk over me a lot. And that's fucked up as well. You shouldn't take advantage of nice people or any people at all. No matter how wrong the world has done you, two wrongs don't make it right, and you shouldn't go back out into the world and produce more wrong, you feel me? Like, at the end of the day, karma is going to catch up with you. And karma is definitely going to catch up with LB. Anyway, I felt very nasty. And like it or not, I was raped. Even though I wasn't tied behind my back. Like, it's like this scenario that is put in our head by media, social media, movies, books, TV shows, or just like, you know, every situation is different. That has happened to people, but in my situation, it led up to that. And every situation is different. No matter what, consent is letting somebody know that they're okay with the sexual activity that's about to transpire. But if you have no consent from that person, whether it's male or female, it's sexual assault. And that's the bottom line. And I really wanted to come onto my platform and make this video because I was really highlighted to what happened, and it really highlighted me to me and let me know what happened because of this training that I had to go through at my school. I go to William Patterson University, and in order for me to register for next semester, which starts January 1st, you have to take this Safe College training course. That's about an hour long, and I took it yesterday morning, like as soon as I woke up, because I know I want to register for classes next semester. I took it, and I learned a lot about sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and all types of forms and everything, and people were telling their stories. And the whole time I'm just thinking, like, I can't wait to record so I could really put my story out there and just let anybody know that it's not okay and it's not your fault. No matter if at first you started out wanting to have sex, and even during sex, at any time, the consent can be taken. Like, whether it's a male or a female. If you say no, even in the middle of him busting your ass, or you feeling it or you liking it, as soon as you're not liking it is when you say no, and when it should stop immediately. If they keep going, I'm so sorry that happened to you, and I hope that you find the courage one day to come out about your story and don't hide it, because the more you hold on to stuff, the harder it is for you to live your life. And I'm going to speak about my story, and I'm going to let people know about my story so I can feel better at the end of the day, so I can have that strength and power that he took away from me that night, so it can be restored in me, and I can take care of my daughter. I don't know, I feel like it didn't affect me really, but it did, it really did. At that night I was really like disgusted, and I just felt like so nasty within myself and bad, like, and ashamed, and I felt like it was my fault, but it's never the victim's fault. And I'm not even a victim, I'm a warrior, but it's never your fault. It's that person who was assaulting you fully, because they know what they're doing, whether it's consciously or unconsciously, whether they're drunk, high, or sober. They know what they're doing, and even if and that's the other thing that I learned in this college training course. Like, I wish I could share with y'all to get in, but unfortunately I can't. But I will put the screenshots at the end of the video for y'all to look at for yourselves. It's just not okay. It's really not. And people are probably holding on to this story for years, whether it's a family member that done it to them or a friend. Half of the time, people think that it's strangers that might be their attackers, but it's really most of the time, people that you might know or may know of. And in this situation, I knew of him. I didn't really know the boy, but he violated me, and I didn't like it at all, and I felt very uncomfortable in the whole situation. And I was just like, and just talking about it now, like I feel something in my chest right now, and it's just feeling of unwantedness, like, and I don't like what happened to me at all, and I wish I could take it back. But every experience is a learning lesson, and don't blame yourself. Don't beat yourself up about it, because it happened and it wasn't your fault, and it's not okay. And that's really just what I wanted to share. And it happened like quickly. It wasn't like some long overdrawn story, and I don't want to overdraw it more than what it is now. I've already been recording for 10 minutes, but this is my story, and that's all I wanted to share. I feel like I was just like, I already had like a self-conscious knowledge about like, rape and sexual assault. I never even looked at it as sexual assault. I always heard the word rape or whatever, and I feel like nothing like that ever happened to me. But being that I just took this safe college training course about sexual prevention towards violence, sexual violence prevention, kind of opened my eyes to things that I've been through in the past, but I never seen it as sexual violence or sexual harassment. I always feel like something was wrong, and I did feel like me saying no or me not saying anything at all, like I felt wrong in that moment. But I also learned from this training that yes solely means yes. That's your consent. Like if you're letting it happen, that doesn't mean that you want it to happen. And it's also kind of tricky saying that too, because just because something is happening to you does not mean that you're allowing it. For example, my situation, I didn't want that to happen, and he's bigger than me. He's chunky a little bit, and I don't like chunky boys. I don't like that. That's not even my type at all, which was another reason why I knew it wouldn't work. But so I couldn't really get him off of me, and it's just like, why do I have to push you off of me for you to understand, or like scream, kick, and punch you or something like that? Like if I just say no, that should be enough. Like it is enough. So why don't you take the hint or just like leave me the fuck alone? And it's just like, also not saying no does not mean yes. Like that empty statement or that freeze moment that you have, they should not take advantage of you like at all. And they're not supposed to. Like I'm letting you know, please don't blame yourself. It's never the victim's fault. In society, especially, I don't know about other societies, but American society, it's always like people try to play the blame game and victim blaming especially, or warrior blaming, where they'll make it seem like it's your fault or you allowed it. Like I told my baby father what happened. And he's just like, well, you allowed it to happen. Like what? How can you allow something like that to happen? Just because you let them know how you're feeling, or you let them feeling you, whatever. Like there's moments too, and it's also what I learned in the college training or whatever. You might let them kiss or whatever. You might want a kiss or whatever, but that's all you want for the moment. Like you don't want them to feel on you or kiss on your neck or take it to another level. You feel me? Like where I want you to stop is where I want you to stop. Like there should be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't have to discuss myself or explain my reasons. That's just it. Leave me alone. Stop. That's it. No. No means no. So your yes means yes, and your no means no. And even if you're not saying anything or not saying no, that doesn't mean yes. That sounds confusing, but it's really that simple. And they gave like different analogies or whatever to broaden that understanding of it. Like they were talking about how a cheeseburger, if you don't want a cheeseburger at that moment and you stuff it in somebody's mouth, you're violating them, and the weapon is the cheeseburger pretty much. It sounds silly, but that really is the weapon. And I didn't like it at all. And I feel like, as I was saying before, the sexual assault, broadening of my knowledge, I feel like I've been through those things before. Like, and it could be anybody. It could be a friend, a mother, a boyfriend, a father, a girlfriend. Just because you're in a relationship does not mean that they can just take your sex whenever they want to. You have to give consent, and you have to be. It's just a two-way street. The only time it's one way is if you're not there, if you're not up for it. Whether you're a female or male, women can rape too. And I feel like in younger relationships, a lot of the times, also in the safe college training, because it's bringing that up in my mind. I'm trying to remember certain things that I learned. Like, a lot of guys just think just because you're in their house or in their room means that you consented to sex, and that's what's about to happen. Like, and that's pretty much what happened to me a lot of times. Like, this situation that I'm describing now, it happened in a car, but other situations in my past that has made me think about what I've learned yesterday. And that makes sense. Like, guys think that just because you're in their room, like, you're here, that's what you want. Like, you want what they want. And just because you're in their room or sitting on their bed or y'all was just kissing means that they want to have sex. And that's not what it means most of the time. And that's really what it meant for me. Like, even having sex before, like, with other people, I never really wanted to. It was only because of the situation and how it led on. I felt like I was already here, so I might as well. And now I sit back and think about it, I could have stopped it. And I learned something yesterday called verbal defense. Like, if no, it's not working, like, try something else. Like, try to get them off of you as firmly as possible. Like, say anything like your breath stink or I gotta go, like things like that. If they're really still pushing on, then that means that you should never see that person again. And thinking about, like, stuff that I've been through, I never seen it as that, and it was never as severe as like a very severe situation, as like them literally like raping me to where I'm bleeding or whatever. But sexual assault can be severe or it can be light, but it should not be taken lightly. It can be light as in the aspect of only minor things happen, but it can definitely still take a toll on you. And now that I'm thinking about stuff in the past, I always felt the way, like, I didn't like what was happening to me. Like, if I'm saying no and you still keep going, like, the boy will feel like, oh, kisses will, like, or more seduction or more intimacy will make the person be on their side more or bring them to what they want to do. But that didn't make me feel like even any more of what I was saying no. It just made me feel like more of being taken advantage of. And that's definitely how I was feeling it. And now that clarification is coming to light after taking this college training. So I just want to commend William Patterson on getting this information out to people. And even if it wasn't for registering for classes, I'm still happy. I'm so happy and relieved that I got to know about this information. And I'm definitely going to pass it on. And I just want to let the world know that it's not okay. And it's not your fault. It's not okay and it's not your fault. Like, please just stand in yourself and just say it with me right now, please. If you're watching me, if you're sharing this with anybody, just tell them and tell yourself, okay? 1, 2, 3. It's not okay. And it is not your fault. It is not okay. And it is not your fault. Like, I can't even cry about it. I don't know, like, these past couple months or whatever, things that have been happening to me. I cry about some things, but most of the time I can't even cry anymore because I've been feeling numb a lot. And God, I guess, is like preparing me for things. I don't know. And it sucks because I always say God won't put you through anything you can't handle. And even though those things could be the worst things that you've ever experienced, like even though this sexual assault has happened to me, it was horrible. It is not even the worst thing that I've experienced. But God will put you through anything that you can't handle. So even if you can't handle it right now, you just gotta find that in yourself to handle it because you can. As long as you tell yourself that you can't, you won't. You never will. You have to accept that it happened to you, accept the things that you cannot change, and have the courage to change the things that you can. And it's not okay, and it's not your fault. I'm gonna keep saying that. It sounds like a broken record because it's really true. And I'm really happy that I got to learn more about what I already kind of knew about, but it really like laid the flat line out for me. Like it's not okay. And like I said, boyfriends or girlfriends can do it to you too. Just because you're in a relationship does not mean that sex is consentable all the time. And I feel like now I'm looking at it back then, I feel like half of the things that I was dealing with were not even relationships. They were like fuck relationships, and I hate them with a passion. And I try to prevent them as much as possible now that I know what it was like. And I don't want to be in that situation. Like, I don't like one night stands or just fucking just because I crave relationships. And I feel like that's because I missed that a lot with my dad. But that's neither here nor there. What I'm just really trying to say is just be strong. And even if this hasn't happened to you, if it possibly would happen to you, just remember that you watched and what the wind tell you, that it's not okay and it's not your fault. And just try anything you can, strive to do anything you can to get that person off of you. And even if you don't think it is that solely sexual assault. Whether that's your boyfriend or not, your girlfriend or not, they're not allowed to do anything with you if you don't give them the consent to. And even not saying anything is no as well. That does not mean yes. Like, that's something that was definitely overlooked in life, and I never looked at it that way. But that makes sense because even though I wasn't saying no a lot in those times where I did not want to have sex, I still felt that way on the inside, and I'm sure my vibes were giving it off. And then like they were giving like little sceneries in the training course too, like to show like the vibes or whatever. Like how somebody, and you can tell by body language, 70% or 90%, I forgot which percentage, but either or of those percentages are mostly body language. Like 70% or 90% of communication is done through body language. So if you can't tell that me or someone else is off about what's going on at that moment, especially if they're drunk, that just makes the matter all worse. You're even more not fully able to communicate how you feel at that moment. So I just want to let you guys know that just be safe out here, okay? On top of COVID, like I really want to talk to my viewers and my fans in the Winners Club, really personal. And I'll always keep it real with y'all. That's all I've ever done. I don't do anything for clickbait like a lot of these YouTubers out here. I take this channel very serious, even though I've been gone for a while. But I feel better about the situation, but it doesn't stop here, you feel me? Like, you gotta keep talking about it, and not keep talking about it as a repetitiveness, just to speak about it, but speak about it just so you can feel better and get it out of you, so you can heal. Because it might not seem like a sore, but it's there. And I want you to soar. And I want us to soar together. Okay? So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my story. I feel like I want to say more, but I don't know what else to say, and I don't want this video to drag out. This has been recorded for 13 minutes along with the other 10-minute video I just recorded. I'm gonna cut some stuff out, but I mainly leave everything in there. So I'm gonna end it right here, and I love you all. Just keep your heads up like your nose is bleeding. And you grow through what you go through. And it's okay. Okay, I'm letting you know. If nobody else has told you, if you've always heard the wrong thing, that, oh, it was your fault, and you're the one to blame because you so-called allowed it to happen, or you let them get that close, then nah, none of that matters. That's bullshit. And I'm calling them out on it right fucking now. Don't believe the naysayers. Don't believe the haters. Don't believe the negativity. It could be coming from your closest loved one. They don't know any better. They don't. And I'm letting you know that it's not okay. And if you have any questions or if you have anything that you want to share with me, please. I've always been open to my DMs, and I've always been open to you guys. Even if you don't have any social media other than YouTube, you can email me. I'll put my email in the description. Oh, guys, just be safe out here, and be safe who you choose to involve yourself with, because you never know somebody until you truly know them in that moment. That's pretty much all I have to say. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, I hope you stick around. I have a whole bunch of content that I'm about to be dishing out. And yeah, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I love you all, and stay up. Peace out, winners. Until next time. Love you. Oh, fuck, my wrist hurts. I worked too hard. It's never your fault.